Hello, we're the NostalgiCast. We remember it so you don't have to.
Yep. I'm joined by my co-host.
Bo.
Yep.
And who are you?
I'm Eduardo. That's the names we're going with. And
today
we're going to be talking about...
that a while ago.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about Seth MacFarline and his career. Hey, why did we decide to talk about him again?
Sorry?
Why did we decide to talk about him again?
I don't know. It's just he's kind of a hot topic on the internet. You know, you always see Family Guy clickbait like, oh, Family Guy, Peter becomes a stripper. You know what I mean? Like re-uploads of Family Guy clips.
I used to have like a playlist full like 100 of those, but they all got deleted because they all infringed on copyright.
There's still some floating around, and I think Simpsons clickbait is like more of a dead thing than Family Guy clickbait. You know?
Yeah, because people are more apt to watch Family Guy than Simpsons for some modern Family Guy than modern Simpsons.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because like modern Family Guy, well, we'll get to it, but in my opinion, modern Family Guy is a shit post.
Yeah, it's just a huge shit post, a very low quality shit post, but
yeah, it's not even a funny shit post. But okay, before we talk about Seth MacFarlane, I have like a bone to pick with Discord.
Yeah.
Whenever like I turn it on, or like in general, it tries to be like this lol random kind of thing, like, oh, optimizing your boners when it's like when it's like, you know, loading the fucking Discord app.
You just don't like that?
Sorry?
You just don't like that?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me wince a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the topic at hand. We are talking about Seth Woodbury MacFarlane, born October 26, 1973.
Is his middle name really Woodbury?
Yes.
Wow.
He is an American actor, animator, filmmaker, comedian, and singer. He's a very prolific guy, and he is super talented. But in this podcast, we're going to go into why we think that he is a hack and he's shit. You know what I mean?
He's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I'd argue he's more of a hack than Steve Oedekerk. I'm going that far.
Wow.
So, you know, let's just jump right into it.
Let's get right into his career. So, this is the part of his career where he starts off with promise. He, with his television career, he, started to work with under like the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like, in the 90s, and he tried to launch his own cartoon during the What a Cartoon series, like where Cartoon Network showed shorts that could possibly be picked up if people liked them enough. That's where Johnny Bravo, I Am Weasel, and Cow and Chicken came from. Johnny Bravo was the only good one out of those. But yeah, he made his own cartoon.
Debatable.
He made his own cartoon, Larry and Steve. And have you seen Larry and Steve?
I've seen momentary bits of it, and like, you know, from what I've seen, it's just Family Guy, but it's just Peter Griffin and Brian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Brian is brown in this version instead of white. So
yeah, you know, and my take on Larry and Steve is just like, you know, it's kind of charming, I guess. Like, you know, it's Seth MacFarlane's first run at comedy, and you know, it's respectable. I think you know, it's definitely like interesting, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. So then he worked on 4 television series during his tenure at the studio at Cartoon Network: Dexter's Lab, Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, and Johnny Bravo. So, you know, he did some good stuff, and he spent most of his time on Johnny Bravo, and Johnny Bravo was probably the best, or maybe Dexter's Lab. Fuck, I don't know. I just like Johnny Bravo more. Don't at me.
Yeah.
He worked as a storyboard artist and found his own style through Johnny Bravo and through the show's script writing, and meeting people at the studio. He made connections so those people would work on Family Guy later with him. And he also did freelance work for Disney, writing for Jungle Cubs, Nelvana, and he wrote for Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
A classic film right there.
Yeah. He found the work at Disney really bad, so like he found it too restrictive. So
he said it was valuable.
Yeah, but
I see. Okay, he did
Yeah.
find it kind of restrictive.
He found it valuable but very restrictive, and
Yeah.
so executives at Fox, they saw an opportunity and in Larry and Steve, and they started negotiating for a series. And so then he made Family Guy.
I fucking love Family Guy.
Family Guy. That was very.
It seems today
that all you see
is violence in movies and sex on TV. But where those good old-fashioned values
on which me used to rely.
Okay, that's it. We're not doing it anymore.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, and like Family Guy, it is sort of a staple of American culture, known for being that one pretty unfunny Simpsons ripoff. I'm gonna wager, I'd say.
Yep. Okay, the first 6 seasons were good. They canceled the first 3 seasons were pretty good. They had some stinkers in there. The 4th season was good. The 5th season was okay, but the cracks started to show. The 6th season was like the last good one in my opinion, and then season 7 just kind of. There were some good episodes past season 7 and beyond, but like they were just not as good as the other ones. Like I remember first episode of season 7. I remember the
7. Star Wars parody. Sorry.
The first episode of season 7 was how Brian Griffin didn't feel comfortable sleeping with this girl on her first date, and the rest of the episode everyone was just calling him a pussy and how she cheated on him. And the episode tried to be like ironic, but it took itself so seriously that you couldn't really tell what they were doing. I mean, I guess we're kind of getting into the argument that like what is satire and what isn't, but this kind of had the idea, it had the preconception that the man had to sleep with the woman. And the point is, it was just really poorly written, and it tried to have like a moral in these deep, sad moments when it clearly couldn't do anything. And it was just trying to be a huge joke the whole time.
When did Seth MacFarlane like stop writing for the show? Because of course he still does voice acting, but you have to imagine like at some point he just hired some hack to start writing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least he lost the passion. Also, I have to say, I mean, I haven't watched much old Family Guy, if I'm going to be honest. I've only seen. Were the Star Wars parodies old Family Guy?
They were kind of new. They were like mid-seasons. They were all right.
I remember those were kind.
Yeah, those were good.
Yeah, those were kind of funny, I thought. Yeah, other than that, like all the other Family Guy I've seen was just like the chicken fights. I watched the Simpsons guy, the hilarious crossover between Homer Swanson and Peter Griffin.
Hilarious.
There was an episode where like Meg Griffin and Chris like fought in like a school cafeteria and like killed everyone Kingsman style. It wasn't really funny. It was just kind of uncomfortable to watch. I don't know. In general, the fights I didn't find very funny. I don't know what it is about them. It's just not good animation, not good slapstick.
Yeah, as the time went on, the animation got really bad. It started off passable. Like it started off either good or good to passable. Then it just became
like charming.
Yeah, it had that old school charm to it. Like the new Peter Griffin looks like downright mean, but the old Peter Griffin looked like a wholesome father figure.
Yeah, he looks kind of lovable.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say, I don't want to sound like the mysterious Mr. Ender here, but would you say Family Guy got more and more mean-spirited as the show went on?
Yeah, it started to have less jokes and started to be like, this person mean, that funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Like usually it's something like I don't know. Family Guy like at this point wouldn't be like Beyond's making jokes about like the mentally handicapped, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they already did that a ton.
Yeah, they've already done that several times. They made several jokes about Peter Griffin like being sexually assaulted. There's no low for Family Guy. It's just a bottomless pit. It's a void, pretty much.
Yeah.
And also, as far as I'm aware,
as far as you're aware.
Sorry, it's just as far as I'm aware, it seems like all the characters kind of lost their humanity as the show went along. Like everyone just it is like Flandersation, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the punchlines became Peter hits this person, and I mean that's kind of funny sometimes, but like when you do that all the time, and when all he does is just like beat the crap out of teenagers and children, it's not that funny. Like, haha, you did this once, it was kind of funny, but when you do it again and again and again, and again, and again, it becomes less charming and more like annoying and desperate.
Did you cry? Did you cry, you little bitch, when you saw Peter Griffin punch Lucy in the face?
I came at that moment. That was just pure writing genius. Like, what if someone came up and just beat up a child? That would be hilarious. What if they did that again and again? I'd come so hard.
Those jokes where Peter Griffin like beats up like either some pop culture character or the show kills some pop culture character where he beats up like a child or something. It reminds me of that one YouTube animator Flash Gets. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Flash Gets made that shitty video called Racist Mario.
Oh my god.
And see, the joke of that cartoon was, first of all, the animation was pretty shit, but the joke of that cartoon was Mario kills other video game characters. And it is funny because that's how comedy works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every time I see these, like, new YouTube animations of, like, these characters, I know it's gonna be, like, all like, oh, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this easy logical thing when talking about a game? And then they, like, kill each other and, like, punch people and, like, they start shooting
just kill
each other
and shit.
Like, God, that's not fucking funny. Shut up, that's not clever. It's just having people die.
Or like a hilarious sex, or they do like a stupid sex jokes with the characters or something like that. The only YouTuber I thought like did kind of like the sort of shit post everyone dies animations well, I thought were like Oni Cartoons. I think he did that shit pretty well. Even then, like it was still done with restraint. I felt it wasn't like Flash Gets where he just like throws shit on the screen and has them murder each other. And then that's the joke. It's funny because the cartoon characters die. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just like a whole other tangent. That's just like a thing that really irks me about like a lot of cartoon comedy, like in general. You know?
Yeah, Family Guy started to have those problems, but early on they were kind of excusable. Like in some episodes they'd be like have these characters on TV like after this amount of time, after this many seasons, I really just don't care. Like, they started to have those kind of jokes, and they were okay. Sometimes they had, like, a different punchline other than, haha, character is aware that they are in cartoon, or something.
Also, we have to talk about, like, the kind of, like, how Family Guy started, like, inserting memes into its, like, writing.
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
That happened a lot later on, like, kind of later on, except with the peanut butter jelly time thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. It reminds me of like, when the Simpsons did the Homer shake.
Oh, yeah. that was something you need to be compared to.
Yeah, that's like... That is like the moment you realize, okay, Fox Animation is not what it used to be. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, it's just like I think Family Guy is just like kind of became like a hack thing that was just like, we got to keep it going. Let's just be uber self-aware, just not give a shit. Just kill characters, have Meg get beaten up 5 times, have an episode where like Meg wants to have sex with Brian for some reason, and also kill off Brian in one episode and then bring him back 2 weeks later.
That was such like a tasteless and stupid ass thing. Like, they could have wrote him off in a way that the character had been struggling with alcoholism and suicidal thoughts for a long time. They could have had an overdose or something. That'd be something in character, but like Brian is like portrayed as an angel, like, I've always loved you guys. Thank you for giving me everything. Like, come on, shut the fuck up. That's obviously like such a lazy attempt at writing. God.
He's kind of like an abusive prick in the show, like at least in the later seasons, right? So you really expect us to like feel sympathy for him when he dies.
Yeah,
I don't care how dramatically you zoom in on their faces, you know?
Yeah, one of our ideas for one of our future episodes was, does Brian Griffin deserve to die? And I say yes, because over the time the characters got really bad, and it's including Brian. Brian used to be like this intellectual who was hindered. He could write really well, but he was generally unmotivated and hindered by his crippling alcoholism. And he was often the straight man in Peter's routine. Like, Peter does something wacky, and then Brian says, shut the fuck up, Peter, don't do that.
Ow! I'm not going to call the hospital because you won't learn anything if I do.
Kind of like how that's the original premise of Larry and Steve. You know, that still harkens back to that old comedy idea.
Yeah, but now,
I don't know.
Now Brian's just a pretentious liberal asshole that came from absolutely nowhere.
Brian is the libtard, and Peter is the libtard destroyer with facts and logic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's like, no, Stewie is the libtard destroyer. He's like, is that really true, Brian? Or are you just saying that to make yourself feel more woke?
Yeah, it's just fucking cringe.
That's how all these new episodes between Brian and Stewie go.
Didn't they do an episode where like Brian Griffin starts arguing that God doesn't exist because like there are ugly women?
Yeah, and also God appeared in the Family Guy house, and God has delivered plagues onto the Griffin's house that one time.
Oh. Well, yeah, God does like exist canonically in the Family Guy canon, right? Like,
yeah, and like he's met God. What other fucking proof do you need? Jesus Christ!
Didn't he have dinner with Jesus one time?
Yeah, he did.
Like,
and he saw him perform miracles. God.
I guess Brian forgot, you know? And obviously we have to remember the hilarious running gag of Quagmire having non-consensual sex with a bunch of women. Like, remember that one Marge joke that happened?
Oh, yeah. And then, did you see Seth MacFarlane's response to it?
What did he say?
Oh my god. So, this was so in a Simpsons episode, they made a joke. They said they were pulling like up a book of crimes, and they said Peter Griffin's face, and that with the caption of the crime being plagiarism. That was it. No one else commented on that. And so Seth MacFarlane did his own revenge gag of the Simpsons, where he had Quagmire rape Marge, and so. And, like, the rest of the joke was that Quagmire raped Marge. Marge said, "You're great, Glenn. Let's go back to my house." And so they go in the Simpson house, and then Homer walks in. He's like, "Marge, what are you doing?" And Quagmire's like, "Oh my god!" And then shoots him. And then Marge is like, "You shot my homie!" And Quagmire shoots
my homie.
Yeah, and then Quagmire shoots her. And then Bart comes in and says, "Hey, Curimba." And then Quagmire shoots him.
Lisa comes in and she goes, "Oh no, now who will pay for my saxophone lessons?"
Yeah, and then I can.
Then Maggie walks in. There's an awkward pause, and then Quagmire finally pulls the trigger. Very hilarious joke.
It's like those jokes you said where a character dies. That's the joke. It's like,
yeah.
And also, Seth MacFarlane threw a huge fit about this on an audio commentary you can listen to. He's like, "Oh, this is such bullshit." See, like, we're having a delightful... They called us plagiarism, and we're having, like, a delightful little jab back, and they said we couldn't do it. That's such bullshit. Fox censors, they have such sticks so far up their asses, they suck. Like, he sounded like a fucking child.
Oh, God. He sounded like a... Yeah, some idiot that's like complaining about censorship. It's so cringy, you know?
Like, shut up. That's not a funny joke.
I'm sorry. Yeah, usually Fox, newsflash, I don't think Fox likes it when you tell jokes about raping their other, like, you know, TV staples on their network. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
and, I don't know.
Anything else about Family Guy?
We should talk about two things. One, Meg Griffin, right?
Yeah.
There really isn't anything else to say about Meg Griffin. It's just like Peter Griffin likes to beat her up, and at first it was kind of funny, but now it's just really annoying.
It's just tired. Again, like, haha, character kills another. That funny.
Yeah, there's that, and like I think we have to talk about this sort of See, I find Family Guy funny now in a way that like was not intended. It's funny in this meta sense on the internet where like people just. I think Family Guy is just like a joke in of itself nowadays, right?
Yeah, just if you want the quintessential Family Guy experience, fall at Family Guy funny moments. They're just show clips of Family Guy, and that's the best way to enjoy the modern episodes. Just set up punchline joke instead of them running it into the ground or something stupid like that.
Also, you should go on the YouTube channel called Synth Cool. He has there's a playlist of him where he plays his character Family Guy Fan 420. We can play the Family Guy Fan 420 intro right here. Basically, Family Guy Fan 420, like, you know, he does reviews of Family Guy pretty much. It's really amazing. You should definitely check it out. He also uploads hilarious anime character analyses, like about Millhouse and stuff. So check it out. You won't regret it.
Sorry, I was thinking of Winky Dink Media. So
I don't know how Winky Dink Media too.
I'm sorry.
I'd argue Winky Dink Media is worse in like because like at least in racist Mario, the animation is passable, and like I'd say the jokes are slightly funnier. In Winky Dink, the joke is just an awkward sex joke. It's just like they literally just made it for the clickbait because like some little kid is all like, I want to jerk off to cartoons. Oh, I guess Winky Dink will suffice. And then Winky Dink does his shitty comedy, and that's his content pretty much.
I was just thinking about how he constantly complains about YouTube censoring him.
Yeah, I wonder why YouTube is censoring you. Maybe it's because you made a show called Cartoon Hookups.
I'm sorry. Okay, we're getting really off track, but I don't think we can fault Seth MacFarlane for the writing in the later seasons. We can fault it in the mid seasons, but not the later seasons, because because in the later seasons he hasn't written for Family Guy in like so long because he's so busy with so many other projects. We should probably get to those eventually, but
like A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah, or The Orville, or American Dad, or The Cleveland Show.
None of these are really acclaimed, I would say. I mean, some people like them, but
yeah, I think
American
Dad was funnier than Family Guy. I don't know why. I just think the characters were a little better because even in the later seasons, when the humor wasn't as good, the characters stayed mostly intact. Like Steve Smith was already like so much of a better character than Chris Griffin. Because like, what the fuck does Chris do? He's fat and masturbates, while Steve is like a nerd who also
right?
Steve Smith is a nerd who also masturbates, but he has a fucking swag ass posse. While Chris Griffin has nobody.
And then there's also the daughter, right?
Yeah.
What does she do?
Haley, she's the she's an actual foil to. So the show is all about like political commentary as Stan, the dad, is a CIA operative, and he's like a hardcore conservative and Republican, while Haley is like the more liberal one. Like there's an actual foil here. Like the foil to Peter Griffin is Meg because she exists. And the foil, that hardly works in a comedic setup, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a personality clash that makes them hate each other. It's just because Meg exists.
And, yeah, she pretty much just exists for Peter Griffin's abuse.
Yeah. While Haley is her own character.
Yeah, American Dad, like, it's made me laugh, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Also, Stan manages to be, like, so much more offensive and blatant in his like humor and quips than Peter Griffin ever has been for me. Yeah.
Also, Stan Smith is like, his character isn't just like the dumb dad necessarily, which I think that definitely like lends to like the show being more unique,
Yeah, he's not like it's not like dumb dad does dumb thing. It's dumb Republican dad does government thing, which is
it's a little
more stories with that premise.
Yeah, I don't know, was it that pause? Then, so I think, so far, I guess, like, just for a point system, -1 point for Family Guy, +1 point for American Dad. Because American Dad, it's probably gotten a little bit worse, but, like, I think that there's a bit of passion behind it. So,
yeah,
I guess we're trying to, should the title of this episode be, Is Seth MacFarlane a Hack?
I don't know, I think it should... yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, we're deciding if Seth MacFarlane is a hack or not.
Well, I feel like Family Guy should be even because it started off really good, but then got really bad. So,
okay, so we'll mark that as an even thing, I guess.
Yeah, and +1 for Cleveland Show, for American Dad. But now we have to move on to the Cleveland Show.
This show is not good.
This show is really bad. Its mere conception is very bad.
Didn't they even, like, acknowledge it in Family Guy?
Yeah, they acknowledged how it was such a failure so many times.
Ouch. And what made it so bad exactly? Like, what made it not good compared to, like, the other projects that were made?
Okay, so it's like Family Guy, but if you remove the cutaway gags and you make it less funny and you make the characters worse...
Yeah, it's really shit then.
Yeah, like... A lot of the jokes, you know how in Family Guy they transition from scenes by using cutaway jokes? In this show, they don't do that. They have like a bad joke or no joke at all. Let it hang out like a wet fart, and then just cut to the next scene.
Yeah. So that's pretty shit. I don't know. I honestly can't speak from experience. The only like Cleveland show shit I've seen is like the theme song, which I think is kind of catchy.
Yeah, the theme song's the best, but still. Also,
I will say I think that Seth MacFarlane is a good singer. You know,
it's the only
one of singing.
It's the only one of his cartoon shows that was publicly denounced by Chris Chan.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Chan. I remember after he said he wasn't going on the
Family Guy.
Yeah, he's a huge Family Guy fan. I know.
Didn't like Chris Chan have a crush on Meg Griffin?
That would not surprise me.
Yeah, basically what he said was he finds Meg Griffin really attractive, and whenever he watches Family Guy, he's really hurt whenever Peter Griffin bullies her, and he wishes that like Meg Griffin would be like his waifu in like the real world.
So his girlfriend.
Yes, I believe one time, like you know, like how he used to like kind of harass this girl named Megan, right?
Yes.
In one of his videos, he was like talking about a pitch where like he would have, I think Seth MacFarlane. It was actually just a troll sent him an email saying that he could help him in the next Family Guy episode.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Chan proposed that Sonichu and like Rosa Chu and Chris Chan meet the Griffins, right?
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much, like he says, I think he says something about him being with Meg Griffin, and but when he talks about Meg Griffin, he says Megan, like it's like a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
So I think it basically just kind of displayed what he really means by saying he likes Meg from Family Guy. It just reminds him of Megan from his past, you know. So this isn't about Chris Chan, but that just kind of is a part of Family Guy, I guess, you know?
I feel like if they made a Chris Chan episode, that would be a lot more interesting than a lot of the ideas they have now. Like, what ideas do they have? They don't.
Family Gay?
Yeah, the Family Gay, that was my favorite episode. That was another episode that I felt like, okay, the writing is not as strong as it was anymore, because half the jokes were just, haha, gay.
There's that one cringy joke where they were like in the Disney universe and they started like singing a little song about pie.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting, I'd say.
Okay, can we stop talking about Family Guy? Can we talk about his other stuff? Because we're gonna be here a while.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so yeah, -1 for Cleveland show, 0 points for Family Guy, and 1 point for, what's it called? American Dad?
American Dad, yeah. I'm
yeah,
sorry. While we're on the topic of Family Guy, I'm just reminded of that and Chris Chan. I'm sorry to relate it back to him, but I remember that ad he got, the Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy support gay rights, shouldn't you? Remember that?
Yeah.
I
remember that. And like he obviously got mad about that.
Super pissed about it.
Yeah, I don't know why he likes Family Guy so much, because like Family Guy, like as much as like Family Guy does like make edgy jokes, it is like a left-leaning show, so I don't know why he likes it so much.
Yeah. But
anyway,
now let's talk about his magnum opus, his independent film, his cavalcade of cartoon comedy.
What do you have to say about it? Can I say my thing first about it, my piece?
Yeah.
First of all, this was sponsored by Burger King. Jesus Christ.
It was.
I've only seen three of these gags, right? One is Quentin Tarantino doing a circumcision, which just made me more uncomfortable than finding it funny of just a bad Quentin Tarantino joke, but with him slicing and dicing a baby.
Yeah.
Which, not the funniest joke. There was this other one where like a princess with the princess and the frog, and like the frog was like a creep. Not very funny. There's this, and like this one made me turn off the video because it was just so embarrassing.
It's the first one.
It is the first one, and I just couldn't get through it. It was of a Scottish guy watching TV, like Grey's Anatomy, and going like, "Oh, don't you do that?" Like, it's just like so bad. Like, I don't know if this was all him doing the voices. I think it was.
Yeah, it was. But, it sounds so much like Brian Griffin, and
yeah,
it's just Brian Griffin making voices the whole time.
So I tapped out. I know you have more mental fortitude because you're like a titan of strength.
Yeah, to
So
quote Boogie 298.
what I have to say about Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of cartoon comedy is that, like, obviously it's just deleted cutaway jokes from Family Guy episodes, so that makes them worse. I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like a revelation everyone had while watching this was just it was deleted cutaway Family Guy cutaway jokes that were too raunchy or unfunny to be in Family Guy, which just says a lot. And
It was pretty much like, hey, this is my shit compilation. Here you go. You're welcome.
yeah, okay, the only part I laughed was when it was like a sketch called Ducks. Two ducks watch Meet the Parents, and they're just these two ducks sitting there. Like, I don't find this very good. They're like, okay, these actors clearly aren't putting their best into this, and they turn it off. They're like, this is better. There's no punchline. It's just two ducks talking about how a movie sucks, how Meet the Parents sucks.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
But yeah, these episodes, everything looks like Family Guy, so it gives it a huge identity crisis also.
Yeah. See, I've seen quite a few of these, like, out of context. So, like, I've probably seen more of Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of cartoon comedy than I'm letting on. But, like, I don't know. Just letting you know that, I guess.
Yeah. These weren't very funny at all. Like, it's not worth watching. Even a lot of the jokes are just like, haha, sex with something. They already have a lot of sex with blank in the show.
Like, wasn't there one where, like, Optimus Prime was, like, having sex with a woman and he transformed when he came or something like that?
I don't know. All I remember was, like, sex with a few things. I kind of skipped through a lot of it when I didn't like a section.
Yeah.
Like, I skipped a minute ahead. And, I remember one was sex with a toothpaste. And then when he came, he, like, unloaded all of his goo out of the top of his head. And he said, hey, do you have, like, a Gatorade? That was the joke.
Oh, God. Let me just say, before we continue talking about Seth MacFarlane, I remember the mysterious Mr. Enter did a review about this.
Yeah.
Right? And, I think that the mysterious Mr. Enter kind of tainted Family Guy hate videos in a way. Because, like, let me just say, this is, in fact, a Family Guy hate video. But I do kind of cringe at a lot of Family Guy hate content on the internet. Like, everyone has to make a video essay about why new Family Guy is not good. Or at Mr. Interest to make a 30-minute rant about why this Family Guy joke wasn't funny. Like, I don't know. Do you feel me on this? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Just whenever I see it, I'm like, I know what you're gonna say is not super interesting, and maybe we're being hypocritical because that's exactly what we're doing. But I think when we do it, it's epic, and when they do it, it sucks. So just establishing that
we are clearly above everyone else, so we can make these kind of jokes.
Yes, we are better than Mr. Enter, I can say.
Yeah, so -2 for the Cavalcade of cartoon comedy.
Sorry?
-2 or -3 for the Cavalcade of cartoon comedy.
I say, this is controversial, I say -4.
Yeah, this is really bad.
Should we make an episode about Mr. Enter's growing around, by the way?
Yes. In a world where kids rule,
you send
your parents to school. Have you ever wanted to put your parents to
bed?
Buy yourself a pony or just shave your own head. You can stay up late and party
right all the night long, and nothing you do is play along. In the world where down is up and up is down, around here, just all here, we're growing all around, growing all around.
Beautiful.
That was good. Did you like my singing there? It was pretty good.
Yes, and we should do an episode about growing around or Mr. Enter.
I'm contemplating playing that clip of JK playing that song, but like, should we do? I think that'd be a bit mean.
I think that'd be a bit mean, even for our audience +1. Sorry, you're gonna have to be left out of this joke.
Yes, that joke just did not make sense, and you guys that moment of cringe was brought to you by Clorox bleach, in case you were wondering.
Yep.
So, you know.
Okay, let's get back on track. Seth MacFarlane.
Yes.
So,
what were we saying? The Orville.
Yeah, the Orville. Do you know anything about the Orville?
I just know it's a Star Trek parody, and I heard it's actually better than the latest Star Trek show that's happening right now.
Yeah,
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's about, but do you want to just give it a safe +1?
Yeah, I'd say that. So -4 for Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade. We know all this. We'll just say it at the end. Television. So he also made Ted, right?
Yeah. Okay. Let's just
Ted 2.
Television producing and hosting. He did just blanket stuff there, but we should talk about his film career.
First of all, -2 for A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah, that sucked. How about Ted and Ted 2?
Ted 1 is okay.
Ted 2?
I haven't seen it, actually.
I thought it sucked.
Okay, so -1 for Ted 2.
Yep.
How much for Ted?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's just mediocre.
It's alright.
Here's the thing about Ted is, like, it's just him doing his shtick, but he's a teddy bear this time. Like, he's doing that voice.
He's doing the Peter Griffin voice.
Yeah, which is only funny for so long, you know? It's funny. Hey, Lois, you know? It's just...
Hey, Lewis.
Holy crap, Lois. Holy crap, Lois. I'm on a tightrope. You know? It's just not the funniest thing ever. So, yeah, I don't know. I think isn't that everything?
No. There's his character in Sing.
Oh, yeah, Sing, a wonderful film. Very hilarious Zootopia ripoff right there.
Yeah, it's very influential. I remembered everything about the movie. The singing was actually kind of alright sometimes.
Well, the singing is good when, there were 2 songs I thought were good. It was when Taron Egerton sang I'm Still Standing by Elton John. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That, like, the song that the gorilla sang on the piano.
Yes, I know,
I thought that was good. And I guess that performance got him to play, like, Elton John in, like, the biopic Rocket Man. So I'll say it's one good thing that came out of that shit movie. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane wasn't a bad singer. It's just they clearly hired him because he just does show tunes and, like, you know, so that's really why, because he could sing My Way as a Mouse, which is hilarious, obviously.
And he could play the saxophone.
Oh yeah, he could. So, you know, like, Seth MacFarlane performed in this. Do you think he deserves a point for it? Because, like, but Sing was a bad movie, though, so...
Yeah, we'll give him a point for it. You can't blame him for wanting a check. We don't fault Patrick Warburton for being in,
Space Chimps.
Yeah, in Space Chimps.
And Space Chimps 2.
Yeah, well, I'd do that. If it's, like, a free paycheck and you get to say you bet in Space Chimps, like, who's gonna hold that against you, realistically?
I mean, Patrick Warburton is still doing Family Guy, so obviously he wants a good paycheck, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't fault actors or voice actors for taking, like, any role, because it's like, you gotta get food on the table, right? Especially voice actors. So, you know, we shouldn't denigrate people for doing performances. I think we should just denigrate the creations. And Seth MacFarlane has done creations that are shit.
Yeah. It says here that he sided with the writers in the 2007 to 2008 Writers Guild of America strike, so that's pretty good.
That's 2 points.
Yeah, and
yeah. Should I write this down?
Just tally it. We'll know.
I'll tally it. Let me get a piece of paper.
Is he gone?
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we should just let's go over each thing. So how many, like, negative tallies for Family, or 0 tallies for Family Guy, right?
Yeah.
What happened after that?
American Dad is +1.
Okay.
Cleveland Show is -1.
Yeah.
The CCC is -4.
What's CCC?
Cavalcade of Cartoon Cock.
Okay. -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to count. What happened after Cleveland show?
No.
Did we say Cleveland?
Yeah, we already said the Cleveland show. The Orville, so +1.
Yeah.
Ted, 0 points. Ted 2, -2.
Okay.
Oh, I think Ted 2 should just be a -1. It's bad, but not as bad as A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah, A Million Ways to Die in the West is -2 points.
Music career, give him like +2 or something. He sings good. I've never listened because I don't really care about him.
His performance in Sing, I'd say, is a +1.
Yeah.
His participation in the Writers Guild of America is a +2.
Yeah.
There any more negative points we can give him?
I feel like that cringe moment where he criticized.
I'd say Peanut Butter Jelly Time is another minus tally.
Yeah, it's a cringe. Willingly performing that's a cringe moment. Oh, he says he actually does support. He
plays Brian Griffin.
It says he does support gay rights, so I guess that Chris Chan ad wasn't completely facetious.
No, so +1 for supporting gay rights.
Yes.
Yeah. And pissing off Chris Chan.
Yeah, that's a good one.
+1. What else?
He worked on Drawn Together the movie.
Was that good?
No.
Okay, so -1 for Drawn Together the movie.
No, he didn't do anything. He was just a guest star.
Oh, so he just performed. Okay, so I think in that case, did he do a good job performing?
Kind of, I guess.
Let's just have 0 points for that.
Yeah, 0 points.
Let's see. Killing Brian Griffin.
Yeah, that's a cringe.
-2?
Yes.
That one is going to be called the Brian Lookout.
The Brian Lookout. Is that it?
Oh wait, what about raping Marge?
I don't know. Didn't we already do that?
We didn't say it yet.
Oh.
Like in the tally.
Huh. Well, then just put down -1 for raping Marge.
Okay. All right.
That whole incident was pretty cringe.
Yeah, it was pretty cringe. So our overall is 8 positives with 12 negative points.
Wow.
8 minus 12.
That's -4.
Oh yeah, that's right. So it's a -4 points. And I think that officially makes him a hack. Do you agree?
Yep. -4. Diagnosis, pretty cringe.
/hack.
/hack, yes.
So, yeah, I'd say that is our Family Guy episode.
You heard it here, folks. We are the judges of who is hack and who is not.
Yeah, Steve Oedekerk, hack.
Seth MacFarline, hack.
The guy who made Space Chimps, hack.
Gaijin Goomba,
hack. Matt Pat,
hack.
That's right. So, that's what we have to say there. I guess
Ferb's dad from Phineas
Ken
and Ferb.
Penders, hack.
No, cuck.
Cuck. Ken Penders,
hack. Ephemophile.
Yeah, they're all hacks. Yeah, and pedophile. So, that is
it's ephebophilia. Get it right.
Fine, whatever. Same difference, all right?
As a libertarian, I demand you get that right.
As Digibro, you demand to get that right.
Yeah. Okay, so should we do a Digibrony episode?
I feel like someday. I also think someday we should do a movie review of 9/11 starring Charlie Sheen.
Yes.
That could be fun. Obviously, we're going to be respectful about the actual event that happened, but it's just going to be us making fun of Charlie Sheen. So that'll be a fun episode, I think. Oh, we plan to have Asterios on as a guest. We don't know what we're going to talk about with him. We're going to talk about Space Chimps with a friend. This is not Space Chimps. Space Jam. We're going to talk about Space Jam with a friend of mine. Starring Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. And we're also going to talk about Brain Pop with a friend of mine, starring Tim and Moby. So, make sure to check out that.
Yep.
Should we watch Space Chimps 2 Zartog Strikes Back?
No,
someday?
it's going to be worse than the first, and you know that.
Our podcast, that episode would just be 10 minutes long, it's shit.
Maybe if we just don't want to do anything that day.
Yeah, so, is there anything else to say? I mean, is there
No. Okay, well, this has been NostalgiCast. We remember it, so you don't have to.
The end.
Bye.